sister and I are resting in our cabin on the hotel. We got excited when we saw the reviews on TripAdvisor, a hotel inside of a boat, and the price was right. It is not in Amsterdam proper. It is docked on the north side of the harbor, the inconvenient side that you can only get to via a weird and frequent ferry that is crammed with Dutch people on bicycles who would love nothing more than to run you down as soon as they get a chance. Erin is browsing through Ostrostrato.com, a site which analyzes girl-on-girl culture, lesbian and bisexual women on the edge. I am Googling the best places to get magic mushrooms. It's important to stress here that I am the squarest person who have ever lived. I mean, if you observe my lifestyle from a distance, you might cast me off as a free spirit, a visual effects artist, a creative professional. But visual effects has never been the side of the film industry for the glamorous and the spontaneous. It is the side for the obsessive, the ones who will sit at a computer for days and weeks and months, trapped in a loop, repeating the same steps until they get it right. So, I cannot emphasize enough how much I love parameters. It speaks to the lack of my true inspiration. Another core belief of mine is that mind-altering chemicals don't affect me. Yes, this belief has been categorically debunked when it comes to alcohol, but other drugs seem impotent to me. I spent long, youthful hours in hazy rooms, huffing whatever has been passed to me, wondering if I simply lacked the conviction to go where everyone else is going. And this lifetime of being a total buzzkill, it comes as a surprise to me to develop an obsession with LSD in the twilight of my youth. I mean, not with taking LSD. Let's not get crazy. I'm obsessed with researching it. Someone in my writing group suggested I look into the history of the LSD movement as an inspiration for a piece of science fiction. At first, I was carried along by a cinematic and unknown history. It's intoxicating to uncover the grave that you can rob. Then I read Huxley's The Doors of Perception and was beyond intrigued. Translated by my brain, his theory of consciousness is this: the normally functioning human mind is a filter, winnowing down all the things in this world. To disrupt this functioning with a psychedelic is to disrupt this narrowing of the focus. It doesn't cause hallucinations, but rather a glimpse of what has always been there. These words infected me. I wanted to lick them off the page. My mind has always been the problem and the solution. I have long suspected this. This psychedelic fixation is the reason we are here. Erin came to London, where I live, for a conference about glass dynamics. I mean, Erin has a PhD in physics. I once spent an entire year of my life adding secondary facial jiggles to some computer-generated monkeys. I mean, we decided we should go on a European adventure while she was in town. Erin suggested various cities, Copenhagen, Berlin. I mean, I shot them down. I wanted a place where I could legally attain a chemical that would disintegrate my ego. And Erin was cool with this. After browsing through this long list of Amsterdam psychedelic perverts, I finally settled on a TripAdvisor approved smart shop, and I closed my laptop abruptly. We leave the hotel. It is a sunny late afternoon. Erin is casual on the ferry. I mean, she leans against the railing, her low ponytail, the only part that moves in a riot of action in the wind. I mean, Erin never hurries. She is not a laid-back person. I mean, she just doesn't hurry. Both of my sisters dawdle. I was always chronically late for school because of them. Each morning I would sit in the empty car with my backpack and desperate and enraged, waiting for them to release me from the hell of not knowing what was going to happen. I used to be certain that this was because they were inconsiderate assholes, But I have mellowed slightly. Now I think it's about control. If life is lurking out there, conspiring to fuck with everything they hope for, at least they get to dictate how quickly they go out to confront it. We reach the city side of the harbor and head towards the Smart Shop. Amsterdam is beautiful, as everyone says. The canals lined with lighting, gobbled buildings, but I don't appreciate any of it. A silence has descended upon us. It's unusual to be uncomfortable together. Erin is the only person in the world who has my exact sense of humor, who understands precisely why it's been funny to randomly tech Bones promo images of her and David Boreanaz for the last 5 years, even though none of us has ever seen the show Bones. I wonder why I feel anxious now. In many ways, she is the perfect person to lamely take drugs with. After a lifetime of belittlement, she would be the last person to suspect that I cared what she thought. When we arrive, there is no one else inside the Smart Shop. This is my nightmare. No one to casually stand behind while we pretend to peruse the drug paraphernalia. Maybe we'll buy this bong, or that bong. Maybe we just want this hemp bracelet or that miniature statue of a mushroom. No, there will be no opportunity for bluffing. The friendly, bearded millennial behind the counter speaks to us directly in perfect English. Can I help you? I despise him. I am standing on a precipice because I have to speak because I am older. I have to speak because I'm the one who got academically obsessed with psychedelics. We are looking for mushrooms, I say. My face feels hot. He informs us that selling mushrooms is now illegal in the Netherlands. They sell only the seeds. But don't worry, he adds brightly, we sell truffles. They contain psilocybin, they're just slightly different. He tells us why, but I am not listening. I am already diminished. Magic truffles sound so bougie. They are probably exactly what I should be taking, but I tell him we will want the minimal dose as possible. And the dosage depends on the experience you want to have. I mean, he is relentlessly non-judgmental. But do you want to have visuals? No visuals, I say without hesitation. No visuals. No, we just want enough to make our egos dissolve. He generously considers this, and then he suggests that we take 10 grams each. With any less, nothing will happen. The trip should last 8 hours. We buy the suggested amount, stuff it in my backpack, and I rush out of the store. Erin ambles behind me. It's 7 p.m. and our flight leaves early the next day. I'm doing the math, feeling the anxiety rising. We can't trip into the late hours of the night. I mean, what if we are too high on the flight? And suddenly I realize I have a blood test the following afternoon as part of a medical exam for my next work visa renewal. Are they testing for drugs? Erin asked. I don't think so, but I don't know. The sun is still shining. I feel my mood darkening. My backpack is heavy, and I project into the future and feel it there too. A premeditated dissatisfaction with whatever is about to happen. I can see a shift away in the way Erin handles me, trying to go along with whatever I want. I mean, it's a tactic that further provokes me, and we begin to descend into a spiral of me being scary and her being scared. It is the ancient custom of our people. We decide we will go to Vondel Park, find a place to sit, and see how we feel. Erin keeps saying, like, we don't have to do it. Deep down, she knows that inside that we do. We are types. If types decide they are required to have a meaningful spiritual experience on some trussed up fungus, then by God, they are gonna go through with it. We head southwest past the zoo and the Blue Mark, and the Rijksmuseum. The park is crammed. It is a gorgeous evening. We wander along the curving paths, looking for somewhere isolated. There are people everywhere. They are playing frisbee, doing yoga, laughing together with cans of beer. There is not a single patch of empty enough grass. Finally, we come upon a small area on the bank of the lake that is isolated. Thanks to the duck poop scattered all over the ground. Erin scuffs a patch of ground clear with her shoe. We crouch together and decide we will each just take 5 grams. A half. We know very well the man said that this would produce no result, but damn it, we have to try. The truffles are small, hard nodules. They look like cloves, and they taste like dirt. Bitter and discouraging. I chew absently and stare at the ducks in the water moving in a lazy, undulting formation. I wait for signs of my identity disassembling, or at least half of my identity. In my academic research, the study I found the most mesmerizing was the one conducted on patients with terminal illness. It showed that a high dose of psilocybin would reliably generate a sense of merging with the universe. 2/3 of the participants described this trip as one of the most meaningful experiences of their lives. 1/3 reported they were no longer afraid of dying. I couldn't get this out of my mind. And not just that one experience could shake you to your core, but it was just that it was some kind of switch you could flip if you had the courage. After a few minutes, I asked Erin if anything weird was happening. She stretches and frowns. Maybe, I'm feeling pretty loose. I don't feel anything, I say. My voice rises into a whine. Erin doesn't dignify that with a response. She stands, shifting her weight from one leg to another. Erin is taller than me, longer and lankier. I stand too, and I lean against her, so hard that she has to hold me up to keep me from falling over. She likes to manhandle me. She started doing that as soon as she got bigger than me, a celebration of the fact that I could no longer dominate her. It's comforting and infantile that we still do this as adults. Invade each other's personal space. We find a dumpster, and I stealthily throw in the remaining 10 grams of the truffles. They lay there on top of the other trash, an eye-catching, unopened package. I wonder if someone braver than me will come along and rescue them from their fate as a total sign of wimpiness. We will spend the rest of the night wandering, waiting to see if something extraordinary will happen. There will be no visuals. Our egos will remain intact. Erin will not act annoyed with me. She will be kinder than I like to admit that she is. We will feel normal, eat some noodles, and head back to the hotel. I will look out the window before we go to bed and see a long, straight cloud in the distance. I won't be able to tell what it is, and I will ask Erin if it's a giant bridge. That cloud, she says, confused. And as soon as she says this, I will see that's exactly what it is. But then we will laugh and agree that I am finally tripping my balls off. And when the lights, turn off the lights, and we lay there side by side in the dark, with the boattail rocking in the harbor, I will consider the idea that something metaphysical did happen. And the evening is already congealing into a story. And sometimes my ego manages to dissolve a little of it when I hear one of